My daughter changed her last name to match her stepfather's without telling me. I found out on her wedding invitation, and my response changed everything. Hello Reddit I plus here. My name is Daniel Mercer. I'm a 52-year-old civil engineer from upstate New York. And if you'd told me a year ago that a simple piece of mail would completely sever my relationship with my only daughter, I would have laughed in disbelief. But that's exactly what happened. And the wound it left behind still aches on quiet evenings. My daughter, Emily, was born when I was just 28. Her mother, Lauren, and I had a good run. 8 years of marriage, filled with the usual highs and lows. After the divorce, Emily was 5. It was messy, not because of infidelity or money, but because Lauren and I were simply done. We tried co-parenting, and for a while, it worked. I had Emily every other weekend, all holidays, and I never missed a dance recital, parent-teacher meeting, or doctor's appointment. I watched her grow from a little girl obsessed with glitter and fairy tales into a sharp, kind young woman with a passion for writing. I paid for her private school, her braces, and her out-of-state college tuition, even when it meant sacrificing vacations, buying used cars, and taking on extra projects. Lauren eventually remarried a man named Tom. I didn't think much of him at first. He was polite, the typical safe stepdad type, worked in finance, coached Little League, smiled too much. Emily liked him. Over the years, their relationship grew, and I respected that. I wanted her to feel safe and loved in both homes. That was all that mattered, or so I thought. A few months ago, a thick ivory envelope arrived in my mailbox. I knew immediately it was from Emily. I had been expecting her wedding invitation. I smiled as I held it, until I read the name on the front. Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Whitmore invite you to the wedding of their daughter Emily Whitmore to James Anderson. I read it 3 times. Emily Whitmore? I felt the floor shift under me. No Mercer. No trace of the name I had proudly passed down. No phone call to tell me she was making the change. No explanation. Nothing. I sat down at the kitchen table, heart pounding. I wasn't angry. Not immediately. First, I was confused. Then number. Then something deeper crept in. Betrayal. I called her. No answer. I sent a short message. Received the invitation. Surprised by the name. We should talk. 2 days. No reply. I finally reached out to Lauren. Her voice was tight. She made that decision a while ago, Dan. She wanted to feel connected to the family she's built with us. It wasn't meant to hurt you. Not meant to hurt me? I repeated. You all knew and said nothing. Lauren sighed. This isn't about you. She just wanted to start her new life clean. Start clean? Like I was dirt. That weekend, I sat down and wrote Emily a letter. No anger, no shouting, just truth. Emily, I received your wedding invitation. It took my breath away, but not for the reasons you might have hoped. I didn't know you changed your last name. You never told me. You didn't ask how I'd feel. You just erased it, like it never mattered. Let me be clear. I'm not upset because you love your stepfather. I'm glad he's been kind to you. I'm hurt because, for 25 years, I've been your father. I held your hand through nightmares, coached you through math tests, helped you pick your first car, and spent nights worrying when you didn't call. I didn't expect a parade, but I expected respect. You can choose the name you want. That's your right. But you don't get to rewrite history. You don't get to pretend I wasn't there. I won't be attending your wedding. This isn't about punishment. It's about peace. I need time to process what this means for our relationship going forward. Take care of yourself. Dad, I sent the letter, turned off my phone, and took a 3-day hiking trip to the Adirondacks. No service, no distractions, just space. When I returned, my phone was flooded. Messages from Lauren, from mutual friends, and, finally, from Emily. At first, her texts were defensive. You're overreacting. It was just a name. Tom's been more of a father to me than you ever were. That one stung. Then came the voicemail. She was crying. Dad, I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just trying to make things easier with Mom and Tom. I didn't think you'd care this much. I realize now how much that name meant to you. I messed up. I'm sorry. Please don't cut me out of your life. But something in me had changed. It wasn't about the name anymore. It was about value. About whether my role in her life had been acknowledged or discarded when it was no longer convenient. I didn't reply. Not for weeks. Her wedding came and went. I spent the day fixing up my old boat with my brother, sharing beers and stories, watching the sun set over the lake. Peaceful. Quiet. Later, I saw photos of the event online. Her smiling with Tom, her bouquet glowing in the evening light. And beneath the caption, Emily Whitmore and James Anderson, a perfect new beginning. I felt nothing. Not bitterness, not sadness, just acceptance. Months passed. Emily reached out again. She wanted to meet for coffee, to talk, to explain everything in person. But by then, I had already made my peace. I told her I loved her, that I always would, but some choices come with consequences. Not as punishment, But as reality, I wouldn't be her fallback anymore, the invisible parent in the background. I'm proud of the father I was, I told her. But I won't chase someone who doesn't want me in their story. She cried. She begged. But I didn't go back. And Emily? A mutual friend told me she's expecting her first child. She's been going through old photos, baby albums, school memories, birthday videos, and recently reached out to ask for a copy of the letter I once wrote her when she left for college. Maybe she's starting to remember. Maybe the weight of choices is sinking in. But I've moved on. Not out of anger. Out of self-worth. A few weeks ago, I received a letter, handwritten, no return address, but I recognized the handwriting instantly. It was from Emily. Dad, I don't know if you'll ever read this, or if you'll even want to. I was angry. I was defensive. I didn't realize what I was giving up until it was gone. Tom never tried to replace you. That was all me. I thought if I could just blend in, if I could make my world simpler, it would make the broken parts of my past feel less painful. But instead, I erased the one person who was always there. You weren't perfect, but you were present. And I see now how rare that is. I understand if you've moved on. If I were you, I probably would have too. I just wanted you to know. I remember everything, and I miss you. Love, Emily. I stared at that letter for a long time. It didn't fix things. It didn't erase the silence, the choices, the damage, but it was something. A beginning, maybe, or an ending. I wasn't sure. I didn't write back, not right away. Instead, I folded the letter neatly and placed it in the same box where I kept her baby photos, her kindergarten drawings, the homemade Father's Day cards with crooked hearts and glitter glue. It belonged there, part of our story, even if the chapters had turned. Now, when I walk along the lake trail near my house, I sometimes imagine her walking beside me, not the bride in the fancy dress, or the woman who changed her name, but the little girl in rain boots asking if ducks could be pets. I let that version of her stay with me. She's easier to forgive, and maybe one day, if she ever truly wants to know me again, not just feel less guilty, I'll be here. Not waiting, just living, because I've learned that sometimes being a father means holding on, and sometimes it means letting go with grace. Final reflection. Optional if spoken or narrated. Names can be changed, invitations can be rewritten, but history, real history, is unshakable. It lives in scraped knees, late-night phone calls, and the quiet way a child leans into your shoulder when they feel safe. And while Emily may one day teach her child how to spell Whitmore, she'll remember who first taught her how to write her name.